Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm just home from work. Thought I'd have a little look, catch up on the football news, a little bit of gossip, a sprinkling of rumours, and well, bad news for the Premier League. Project Restart is getting an absolute kicking from players, aren't it? Pun intended, by the way, thank you, I'll have the credit for that one. But yeah, not good news for the Premier League. They're trying to get Premier League football back. Big meeting on Monday to... Well, the clubs are literally voting about the next phase of training, small group training on Monday. But the players now, they had their meeting on Wednesday. The managers had their meeting on Wednesday as well. Now, the managers seem quite... It almost seems like a 50-50 split. A bit more laid back than the players. We've not really heard much since. We know that Hodgson wants to go back. Klopp wants to go back. We know that Nigel Pearson isn't too keen. We know Pep, for obvious reasons, he doesn't want to go back. Jose Mourinho is overly enthusiastic, apparently. Had to come out and since say, whoa, hang on a minute, and sort of. But that's all we've heard. But the players, however, it's just kept unravelling, hasn't it? There's been a big domino effect now, and this is bad news for the Project Restart, in my opinion. The players have sat quiet for now, understandably so, because they were waiting to see what was going to happen. They didn't know what was going to happen, not just with football, but in their family life as well, with the virus in general. They were waiting to see what occurs. And now that the Premier League are starting to crank up the pressure a bit to get football back, they really are having to speak up, because it's now or never, essentially. So the Premier League captains had their call on Wednesday, and Troy Deeney and Mark Noble were two that were supposedly very outspoken, and Troy Deeney's continued that. He's continued to be telling people his true feelings, and that is not a bad thing. This was the interesting bit on the call. A doctor had said that to the players that it's going back to training at a Premier League club is no more riskier than going to the shop. And Troy Deeney basically said, I choose if I go to the shop. Ooh, to be fair, he's gone a bit further in that sense, doesn't he? He's basically said, I do not want to play, and what you're going to do? Not pay me? That's fine, because I've been broke before. Now what he means is, I've got enough in the bank. But I actually like Troy Deeney. I've always liked him. I do find him a very honest footballer, a very honest person, wears his heart on his sleeve kind of thing. And he gives it to the away fans or the home fans, whatever, and he gets it back. And he quite enjoys it. He understands the football fan aspect. And he's actually one of the few fans that basically said, if the fans can't come, what's the point? Now I've sort of accepted that the fans are just getting pushed to one side, because the clubs have accepted, and to be fair, I think the fans have accepted that we cannot return if Premier League football returns immediately. Obviously a lot of fans understandably can't accept that football returns without them. I get that, but I think everyone can agree that if football does come back next month, the fans just aren't going. So Troy Deeney is one of the ones that's basically said, well, why are we going back? And until they're safe to come, we should be safe to play. So this is where it gets a bit messy for the Premier League, because what are they going to do? If this is, let's just assume Troy Deeney sticks to his word, and that is football comes back next week. Let's just say that there is 14 yeses, because that's what they need on Monday for the Premier League training to go up a notch. If they get their 14 yeses, one has to assume Troy Deeney will not turn up to the Watford training. Their captain doesn't turn up. Now, if their captain doesn't turn up, any other player in that Watford squad that does not want to be there won't be there. It's a bit different, I think. Mark Noble is actually a very good example here, because on the call you have to assume and expect those captains to relay the general feeling and concerns of his squad rather than him personally. So Mark Noble had to speak on behalf of all the West Ham players, and if those West Ham players don't want to go back, which is what Bob Wine has said. Bob Wine has basically said that a lot of the players don't want to return at West Ham. But Mark himself, we've seen him at training. Now, it doesn't mean Mark wants to be there, but I think he's doing this perfectly as a captain. He's gone on there, he's raised it, he's represented his players, but he's also at training, so he says to his players, if you don't want to come, that's fine, I will argue your case. But if you do want to come back to training, that's also fine. I will show you. I will be the first one on that training pitch. I will be the first one to take that risk. I'll go back, I'll speak to Moyes. Now Declan Rice was there as well, let's put Declan in here. But Mark Noble is the captain. I think he's leading perfectly by example here, where Troy Deeney is also leading perfectly, just in a completely different way. You're getting a bit of an insight, I think, if you listen to what the captains are saying. I think it gives you a little insight into what the squads are thinking. So West Ham are not keen. Wolves, Conor Cody has basically said that it's not perfect. He understands a lot of worries, but okay. So I think you get a little insight there that Wolves are generally alright with it. Glenn Murray, Brighton, he's not overly happy, is he? He's basically said, I don't understand why we're even considering going back. So you get an insight into Brighton's squad there, which is we don't really fancy this one. Sheffield United, we know, are not too. They're a bit more open to returning as well. So it's getting a bit difficult. It's getting a bit difficult now, because what did the Premier League do? Demand clubs come back? Can clubs say to the players, will you choose? But anyway, players speaking out. We've got Troy Deeney there. Glenn Murray has spoke out as well. I spoke about him. Tammy Abraham has raised, raised an excellent point. He's made a really good point, which is his dad's asthmatic. So what's he meant to do? Is he meant to turn up? Because if he gets it and goes home with it, his dad is in a great risk. So what's he meant to do? Now I know what the answer of the Premier League is going to be, which is, well, you, Tammy, you're just going to have to not go home. You're going to stay in a hotel. You're going to have to maybe go and stay with one of your teammates or something, and not go see your father whilst you're playing football. Something along those lines. I think that's what he's going to be told. Aaron Creswell's come out on Twitter, which is rare, I guess, because he's not prominent on social media. Declan Rice is very prominent on social media. Robert Snodgrass is as well. Aaron Creswell's a bit more reserved. So when he'd done a tweet today, it caught me by surprise. TalkSport had Sam Allardyce on. They put a clip on social media, which was why Sam Allardyce was saying, why are we not polling the players? Just let the players decide. Let's get a poll. Let's get a figure. How many want to go back and how many don't? Aaron Creswell replied and says, our opinions don't matter. Neither does the FIFA doctor. And then he said about how they've not been playing for 10 weeks and they've not been polled, and there's plenty of time, which is excellent points. Now, I'm not going to go into that too much, because that's what Aaron Creswell thinks. Fine, fair enough, I'm not, whatever. But what I don't like is the reply he got from someone. And also Joey Barton, he's been at it, surprise, surprise. Glenn Murray's replied to him on social media as well. This is where it's getting a bit bitchy, to be honest with you, because on one side of the spectrum, you're going to have players that are itching to go back, 100% want to go back. You're going to have players over here who 100% don't want to go back, and then there's going to be loads of players in the middle. Some a bit more keen than others, some a bit too hesitant than others, some that are just completely 50-50. It's a mess, and now they're starting to get a bit bitchy, some of the players. It's a pressure cooker environment, because decision time is on Monday, and essentially on Tuesday their employers are going to say to them, back to work. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. I know you always say, hang on, health. I appreciate that. But a lot of people have already been in this situation. I've already been in this situation. A lot of people watching this have been in this situation. Some of my friends have. Which is when employers say, right, back you come. And it's going to be like that with footballers. The difference is a lot of footballers can say, it's alright, I'll sit at home. I don't need the money. I'm fine here. Is football a necessity though? No, but to be honest with you, neither's my job. Neither's a lot of people that I know that's back at work. Their job's not a necessity either. Anyway, the thing that annoys me though, Joey Barton, this person that replied to Aaron Creswell in particular, is the correlation that people are trying to bring in between players that don't want to go back and who they play for. So someone replied to Aaron Creswell and says, well, I wonder if you'd say that if you played for a top team. Let me check. No, apparently you can still get the virus if you play for a top team. Who would have thought it? I just don't get it. It really grates on me, that actually. It's got nothing to do with whether you personally think football should come back, because I'm swinging like a pendulum here. About the football, thank you. Leave it out. Just about the football, I can see both sides. I really can. Okay, I can see the health side, the business side, the money side. I can almost see the sort of personal side, because everybody's personal opinion is different, and a lot of it depends on what you're doing personally with your work at the minute. You know, I know someone that's a postman. I can guarantee you, well, actually I know what his thoughts are, and that is they should be back at work, because he's been back at work this whole time. But anyway, I've been swinging backwards and forwards. But one thing I don't understand is why people are bringing who they play for into it, or their wages. I've seen a lot of people say, well, are you going to give up your pay? What's that got to do with it? Or you get paid so much you should... What? Hang on a minute. They don't get paid that to fight during a deadly virus. What are you chatting about? I don't know. I just don't get it. It's really turning out to be my pet hate this. But Joey Barton was doing that. Joey Barton essentially said, oh, this is convenient, isn't it? Glenn Murray and Troy Deeney speaking out when Watford and Brighton are in a relegation battle. Now, those two clubs are quite significant because if the league finished today as it is, them two are safe. If the league is decided by points per game, those two are safe regardless of which method is used. So Joey Barton was alluding to that, and Glenn Murray just said, I never said it should be avoided of that. And Joey Barton just said, there's youngsters that would take your place, don't you worry about it. I hate it. I just hate it. Why can players not be concerned about health? I mean, listen, there is probably some who are a bit concerned. Joey Barton was trying to say, actually, that the reason they're concerned is because if they get relegated, they'll probably have a 50% relegation sort of wage clause in their contract, which is fair. Anyway, going to run through a quick. The reason I'm doing this video tonight, by the way, is because we've got a special video tomorrow. It's not that special. I'll get on to it in a minute. But a couple of other leagues. League One, they can't agree what to do. They had their meeting yesterday. The people at the top wanted the season to continue because of promotion reasons, and the other part of the league didn't really. So they've got a meeting next week. League Two is finished, done. All the clubs in agreement to end the season as of today. Promotion is going to happen. So the top three are up, and they're trying to get a playoff. The EFL need to sign off, but they're trying to get 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th to have a playoff with obviously one team going up as well. Port Vale, though, this is where I'm impressed actually by Port Vale. They're outside the playoff zone by 1 point, and they voted in favour of the season being finished. They basically said it's important to put what's best for the league over what's best for them as a football club. I like that. But they're pushing for no relegation. Again, the EFL still need to sign this off, and they still need to decide which points per game method they're going to use to decide the table. It looks like it's going to be a straight one, which is just points today, games today. That's your overall. None of this home and away thing. And as a West Ham fan, we can take a vested interest in this, because if our league stops and League Two is decided by a certain method, naturally that's what's going to be the vibe. Oh well, we'll just do what that's done. I'm aware it's different competition and stuff, but it's just important to keep an eye on what's going on. And it's the same in the Bundesliga. That starts tomorrow. We did a video earlier. If you haven't already checked out, please do. It takes a lot of time to do those ones. We knew we didn't get that much views still, but we've done it anyway. But the Bundesliga starts tomorrow, and there's not so much about the rule changes, but there's one rule change in particular that the Premier League should be taking note of, and we, as West Ham fans, as football fans, Premier League fans, we should be taking note of. If they go ahead, they are, and say in 3 weeks' time, so they've played, everyone else has played 3 more games, and the season stops and gets cancelled. They take the table as it is today. They discard the next 3 results. They get rid of them. They've all agreed that this is now signed, sealed, and delivered, so they all know what's happening. And this is something the Premier League need to do. So Project Restart does get underway. They need a plan as to what happens if the season gets abandoned halfway through. You cannot have this discussion then. You've got to have it now, so that everyone knows what goes on. So that's what the Bundesliga are doing. That's interesting. So tomorrow we've got a special video going up at noon on this channel. Saturday that is. So if you're watching this Saturday morning, it's noon. It's going to be a premiere, which basically means that it goes up at a certain time, but there's also a live chat. So at noon there's a live chat. So we'll be in there. We'll be in the live chat. So if anyone wants to come for a yap. It's about the last ever game at Upton Park. Myself and Gonzo, obviously, we were at the game, but we started differently. We met up and we went our own different ways again for the game. So we just speak about our day, the game, what we loved about it, any regrets and stuff. And we've got a lot of unseen Upton Park footage in there. Footage that we've got that we own that no one else has. Not even the club, not even Sky Sports, BT's, whatever. There's some good raw footage in this. It's like Gonzo's done the editing on it, and he basically said to me it's a mini documentary, and I like that description. So tomorrow, check it out. Anyway, I just thought, come on for a little yap, have a little chat. I hope you're doing well. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. I've got a new webcam. That little thing there. Hello. I hope I look a bit better. That's the idea. The idea behind this webcam is it's now better. HD. Hopefully. Let me know if you like it. Drop a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe if you're around here. Come on, let's get to 12,000 subs. I want 12,000. Make me feel good. And I'll see you tomorrow in the live chat, 12 o'clock. Let's talk about the last game at Upton Park. Bye-bye.